Chapter 23 Diablo's Wrath. Diablo was above the castle of the king of Falmouth in the air. He had a smile on his face that clearly did not reach his eyes. This just goes to show how angry he was at the moment. He was definitely not in a forgiving mood. It all started when the information got to Rimiru that Archbishop Rahim had been murdered. The rumor says that the killer was the demon summoned by Demon Lord Rimiru. And now the new king of Falmouth has amassed an army numbering 20,000 with the help of the nobles, which sided with his plan of taking over the kingdom of Falmouth from the hands of the new Demon Lord Rimiru. The new King Edward was as greedy as the former king, and with his new military powers, he has declared war on the former king Edmaris, who is being supported by the hero Yam. The failure was the highest form of shame. Diablo was assigned by Rimiru to handle the things in Falmouth. He cannot even begin to describe how disappointed he wasn't at himself for this failure, and Shinon making fun of him was not helping, which was why when Rimiru sent out a little bit of his subordinates with Hagakura to oversee the stop of the Falmouth army, Diablo volunteered to be one to attack the king and his men. Rimiru agreed to leave it in his hands again, which made Diablo quite happy. At this time, he will make sure that the jerk who spread those rumors about him pays dearly for the humiliation he received, which is why when the fighting began with Yam's group and the Falmouth army, Diablo flew to the castle of the new king of Falmouth. I suppose I should pay him the king a little visit, Diablo said to himself before he disappeared like he wasn't there at all. King Edward was in his throne room being briefed about the state of men in the battlefield. He was accompanied by Glinda and Grigori, who were tasked to protect him. He also has some demon slayer adventurers who were handpicked by the merchant that provided him information regarding the new demon lord. He was confident in his safety because the two paladins were tasked to protect him were part of the 10 great saints who protects humanity from harm. Their powers were things from another world, and he was happy to have them as bodyguards. He heard the rumors that the world's strongest human, Hinata, has set out to slay the new demon lord. He was confident that Hinata would be able to slay the demon lord. As for him, he could just relax and enjoy his tea along with the paladins, watch the show from the sidelines. That was the plan until an unexpected visitor arrived. An unknown being appeared from thin air right in the middle of the throne room. Cuckoo. A pleasure to meet you. My name is Diablo. I am a faithful servant of Demon Lord Rimiru. Diablo introduced himself. The room was thrown into chaos, followed by his appearance. The knight captain of the king began to give orders to protect the king. They took the king to the rear and formed a defensive wall between King Edward and Diablo. Diablo soon found himself surrounded by Grigori and his forces, covering the large throne room. Some journalists came into the room to see what was going on. As this was happening, Diablo never lost a smile on his face. Diablo turned to the journalist. I will not harm you. Just stay over there for me and record everything that will happen in this room. He snapped his fingers, which created a barrier that covered the press corps. This was to ensure the colossal damage may not befall them. King Edward was afraid when Diablo had appeared inside the room, but seeing him surrounded like this brought out his usual cockiness. Well, well, the demon servant of Demon Lord Rimiru. What brings you here, if I may ask? Edward asked. Phoo, 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 phoo. You know exactly why I'm here, Diablo told him with a smile. Might this be because of the war I'm waging on with my brother? Edward asked. It's good that you are paying attention. You see, my lord was very disappointed with my performance here, which was very hard for me. But luckily he has given me a second chance, and I will not fail him this time. Now then, th- this will be sure. This will be your last warning. Surrender now and hold peace talks with Sir Yum, or you will regret the day you were born, Diablo told the king. Why should I do that when it's your country who conspired with my brother Edmund to with charge us with double the reparation? This is just us trying to cover the fund that my brother has embezzled, Edward said to him. So are you refusing my proposal then? Diablo asked. Yes, I can't trust your nation after you killed Archbishop Raham on Demon Lord Rimiru's orders. This is the evidence right here. Edward brought out a crystal ball that showed how Archbishop was murdered by some unknown person. And what does that evidence prove exactly? Diablo was asked. Don't you see, Lady Glenda brought this to us. You infiltrated Lubitus and killed Ram because he has no fear of you and was able to overcome your terror. You feared him telling the world of your crimes, that you have been committing, which led you to killing him, Edward said, while looking Diablo down as he was daring him to deny the evidence. Diablo gave a small laugh. A mere human overcoming my fear. It's a very funny joke. Though I know I don't have time for this charade anymore. Edward's taken aback by this response. Simple, really. Had organized. I'd originally come here to explain my innocence, but I've changed my mind. You humans will only believe what you see anyway. So I have a proposition, Diablo said to Edward, which is, if anyone over here can overcome my fear of me, I will admit defeat. Fair warning, I am in a bad mood now, so I won't be holding back. Challenge me at your own risk, Diablo told him with a smile that did nothing to conceal the rage he felt. Edward was stricken with so much terror that that it took all his willpower just to keep him from peeing his pants. Kill him, he shouted in fear. The demon hunters that was mixed with the soldiers regarding the king were waiting for that particular order. They all leapt down and attacked Diablo. Overcome fear of you? What a joke. You might think you're invincible as an archdemon, but we've dealt with demons like you back in our home country. No demon can survive for long as if you pulverize their physical form. That applies just as much to archdemons. You have done what we've done our homework. Don't underestimate us humans. The hunters were underestimating Diablo, who has yet to move. They swing their special compound alloy chain, imbued with holy element at Diablo, which pinned him down. The chains bounded his hands and legs. The leader of the demon hunters did not see Diablo as any kind of threat. He has seen and faced archdemons in a fight before, and this one will be no different. He was confident in their victory when he saw that Diablo has been bounded by the first attack that he was almost doubted when he heard Diablo's question. Are you ready then? Diablo asked. What? I would be like starting signal. I would like a starting signal. If you people are done with preparations, Diablo said to them. Don't underestimate us, demon. Go, Thunderbolt, the leader of the hunters shouted. The hunters each fired a huge blast of lightning at Diablo, which roasted him from where he was bound. Everyone in the room, including the journalist, were all watching Diablo being roasted in the lightning. What does natural, non-magical, and infused lightning taste like, you demon? Demons like you are always protected by layers of barriers. Too bad for you. We have a way to bypass that. Demons must be granted a physical form to impose their will upon this world. Even with your body destroyed, there is nothing that you can do. The demons boasted with confidence from seeing Diablo being roasted by the lightning attack. Edward could not express how happy he was. He made a promise to himself to increase the reward to the merchant that brought the demon hunters to him. He can finally rest easy with the threat gone. That was a meager effort, too meager in fact. Did you really think that was enough to stop me? The whole room shook with a huge blast of force. The lightning that covered Diablo were destroyed, revealing Diablo still with his smile. He casually brought his arm up, which destroyed the chains binding him. Everyone in the room had a gobsmacked expression, seeing Diablo with no scratch whatsoever. You monster, how can this be? This is insanity. Needless to say that the whole demon hunter lost their will to fight after seeing a glimpse of Diablo's powers. Now for the test, Diablo casually said. The whole room suddenly became heavy after Diablo said that. No, stop, get away from me. Help, someone help me, please. Please make us stop. This is hell. The hunters fell to the ground and began screaming in pure terror. Not just the hunters, everyone in the room besides the journalist that was inside Diablo's barrier began to scream in terror while rolling on the ground. It didn't take long before they all lost consciousness. What happened was just Diablo releasing a little bit of his aura, which is what caused this panic. It only seems that the leader of the hunters and the two paladins were still standing. Barely, though. Diablo was impressed. Oh, you three passed my test. Well, you do deserve praise for withstanding my lord's ambition. I permit you to challenge me, Diablo told them. The leader of the hunters was doing everything in his power not to pass out. Your bluffs don't scare me. Bluffs? Diablo asked in confusion. Yeah, everyone knows that only a demon would class can use Lord's ambition. There is no way an archdemon like you can use it. The leader said to him, I see where the confusion is coming from. You are correct and incorrect in that assumption. It is true that demons like myself are limited to our magical count when leaving the demon world. However, it is possible to evolve to the next level, assuming the right conditions are met, Diablo explained to him. What do you mean, the leader of the hunters asked. I think the red would be an example of famous enough for you to be aware of, Diablo told him. By red, don't you mean? The leader of the hunter asked with pure terror. There is no one who doesn't know the absolute monster who rules the demon lords themselves. His powers were things of legend, things from legend, and leaves widespread destruction wherever he goes. That's right. The being's name was Sky Crimson, the strongest being in the whole universe. Diablo smiled pleased with the look of terror on the leader's face. It's good that you know who I'm talking about. He's a perfect example of what I was explaining earlier. If a demon meets the requirements, then using that power becomes possible for us. Once the leader of the hunters became aware of what Diablo was saying, he began to cry and fell on his knees. Please spare my life. I'm sorry. He began in tears. He begged in tears. What are you saying? You passed my test, didn't you? You are permitted to challenge me, Diablo told him with a smile that did not reach his eyes. The leader began to cry while bowing. I beg you, I was only following orders. Please have mercy. I'll do anything you want. If you want, I will slit the king's throat while he's passed out. I will. Just spare my life. The journalist that was still in Diablo's barrier were all surprised. This was supposed to be the leader of the best demon hunters in the Western nation, groveling on the ground and begging for his life like a pathetic dog. To think that this demon was capable of to accomplish this with no effort at all made them glad that they were not his target. Diablo nodded his head at the leader. Consider yourself lucky. You are not my target, but know that there will be no next time. Thank you so much, the leader of the hunters said with joy. Now then, hurry up and carry all those unconscious people to that barrier where those journalists are. Diablo told him. The leader nodded his head, and began to wake his comrades before helping them to the barrier. Once that was done, Diablo turned to the two paladins. Now then, time to deal with you two. Grigor, being the arrogant man he was, didn't like the tone Diablo was using. Don't get so cocky, demon. You may have scared those weaklings, but you will soon discover that I'm different from them. Diablo's smile grew bigger. Interesting. Consider me amused. You saw a very, very, very tiny glimpse of my power, and yet you still have the arrogance of yours. You humans never cease to amaze me. Of course, I'm not afraid of you. I know that I'm more powerful than you. With my partner here backing me up, your defeat is inevitable. That's a assuming joke. Please show me this power that you are most proud of, Diablo mocked. We will see who has the last laugh. I wanted to be the one who slay that foolish slime you call master. But unfortunately, not to interfere, will be the one to do it. Well, your head will do for now, Grigori said to Diablo with a mocking voice. Diablo paused and couldn't believe what he just heard. Now, that Grigori had just said the taboo word that should never be said in front of Diablo. That foolish slime. And just like that, Grigori signed his own death warrant. You were originally my target. You were originally not my target. You were not originally my target, but for disrespecting great Rimiru in my presence, your life will be forfeited in the most painful and cruel way possible. I assure you, Diablo told him with rage. We shall see, demon. Now, Glinda, Grigori shouted. Glinda, who was sneaking to Diablo from behind, rushed at him and attacked it with a dagger in hand, ready to pierce his heart. She was close to Diablo, but the dagger had stopped right behind him for some reason. No, not that she stopped, but it was more she couldn't move her body. While she couldn't move her body, she used her eyes to look down and saw that she was standing in a magic circle. Diablo turned to her. I may have been talking to that fellow over there, but that doesn't mean I would let my guard down. That magic circle you're standing in was made to paralyze and disable any and all skills in that movement of the target. It's a very low level spell, and you will need a lot more training if this low level spell was able to catch you. You are finished for believing that you could stand a chance against me. But Diablo said that. He grabbed Glinda's neck and punched her on the stomach, which threw her to the far wall in the room. Glinda crashed in the wall with a huge boom due to the force that Diablo used when he threw her. After the shockwave, Glinda slid down from the wall and fell on the floor in a huge pile of blood gathered underneath where she was lying. Grigori saw how easily Glinda was taken out. He was speechless. He thought that this will be an easy mission due to it only being only to estimate an archdemon. He never imagined that this demon will be this powerful. No matter how he was confident that he could still take him down. After all, Grigori still has his trump card. I don't know what you're planning to plan over there, but I just want to say that this barrier is over. Battle is over, Diablo, who was now looking at Grigori, said to him. What? And that was when Grigori realized that everything was extremely slow. He moved his eyes and saw that he cannot move a single part of his body. That's no that's on that's no the right that's not the right word. The right word will be his body that will be that his body and everything else around him moved at extremely ridiculously slow speed. What happened to him? You must be wondering what happened to you and why everything is now too slow. Well, this is due to a skill I developed, Time Break. It allows me to slow the time and perception of any target I want by a billion times. Right now, at this very second, I am speaking to you, but in your current perspective, it will take like 100 years before you hear my words. So if time is slow only to you, what will happen if I do this? Diablo walked to Grigori, who was standing, and pierced his heart with his hand. He looked down at Grigori and slapped his body away to the wall next to him. Right now I just pierced your heart, but in your perspective, it'll take another 100 years before you feel it. And that will be your punishment for what you said about my master. You'll spend years watching as my hand slowly comes closer to your heart, and you'll be helpless to stop it. You will feel all the pain of me crushing your heart, and you being aware of every little detail, for years due to what's happening at very low speed in your perspective. Not like you will hear what I'm saying right now. It will take you a while to die. So I will keep your body in the underworld until you do die. Diablo transferred Grigori's body to the underworld before returning to the throne. You people have been watching me for a while now. Don't you think it's time to come out? After he said that, two people with white robes appeared. The robe had a white hoodie which covered their faces. The two people appeared next to the unconscious king, who was just now waking up. What happened? Edward asked, and he looked around. He saw the demon hunters were inside the barrier that Diablo created for the journalist, and he saw that Diablo was still standing there. He became terrified again from seeing Diablo. But he was little relieved when Diablo had his attention elsewhere. Diablo turned to the spot he left Gelda and saw that she had escaped when he was torturing Grigori. He frowned a little and returned to the new arrivals. And who might you be? We are the 7 Days clergy, and we have been taxed to eliminate you, one of them said. After that, the two of them began to concentrate a huge amount of mana in a fire spell. Now then, let's see you demons survive this. No despair and die along with everyone here. Both of them shouted before they fired the massive fireball at everyone in the room. Diablo had already predicted that this was their plan, created multiple more layers of barrier to protect everyone and himself. King Edward's very lucky to have run too far back behind Diablo, which was protected by Diablo's barrier. Once the fire spell hit, a massive explosion happened, destroying the castle. The castle has been destroyed by the explosion, and Diablo and everyone else were all right. The explosion was too small to dent Diablo's barrier. Diablo began to laugh. You two were not aiming for me with that spell, but everyone here, trying to slant the witnesses. clergy were surprised, but they hid it well, as expected from a demon of the new demon lord. Just know that no one here will be leaving alive today. Be leaving this place alive, one of the clergy said. The journalist and all the knights could not believe what they were hearing. The 7 days clergy were supposed to be protectors of mankind. This was planning to kill them, if not for Diablo. This changes everything they believed in. Diablo smiled. I would take it that you two were everything behind. That was everything behind. You two killed Archbishop Rahim, manipulated the paladins to pick a fight with my master. And you two also behind what happened to this nation, right? That's right, demon. Right? That's right, demon. It makes no difference to us if you find out a plan, since you all will be dead by our hands, one of the clergy said in an arrogant tone. If you figured that out, what exactly can you do about it? The second clergy mocked Diablo. This is interesting indeed. I'm glad for that journalist were to record this for the world. You claim that I can't do nothing, right? I will make you two regret those words, Diablo told them. He began to release a small amount of his aura, which covered the surrounding area in a black mist. A huge red circle appeared by his side and left his arm a tiny bit, but powerful power appeared in his left arm. The clergy were afraid of the power of Diablo. His powers were very much bigger than their god Luminous, and this fact frightened them. They were now reconsidering picking a fight with this demon. Diablo looked at them. Prepare to die, because won't be showing mercy to you. I will need to inform Demon Lord Rimiru about this group and what they are planning, Diablo thought to himself before he faced them. Now then, come at me whenever you're ready. The clergy had no choice but to rush Diablo with everything they had. They didn't understand that challenging Diablo, their lives were as good as over. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.